Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, November 25, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at what the U.S. National Hurricane Center is showing on their 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that they now have no new tropical cyclones that are expected within the next 7 days as of their 7 p.m. advisory. So, I guess we're going to be wrapping up the hurricane season very shortly. We're definitely not going to be getting Vince or Whitney. As it relates to the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we still have that cold front right there off the southeast coast of the United States, still affecting portions of Florida. And we can see that to the east of that cold front, we have ridges of high pressure that are responsible for sending all of that easterly trade wind across the main development region into the Caribbean. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front still bringing some amount of overcast skies and rainfall to sections of the Bahamas, Florida, and the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. We can also see the low-level patches of clouds moving from east to west across the main development region into the Caribbean, all courtesy of that low-level flow of winds from that high-pressure ridge. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday. It was stated that afternoon rainfall would be in the forecast for sections of eastern, central, and western Jamaica. And we know when we're talking about Eastern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. Central Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex. Western Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. And what ended up happening? Shockingly, as early as 8:41 a.m., we saw some clouds bring overcast skies to sections of eastern and central Jamaica. A post was made on our Twitter page at that time. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made on our Twitter page, but our Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok page. And the thing about this is that it was not in the forecast on the models at all. So it was quite shocking that we woke up to some amount of overcast skies in sections of eastern Jamaica. Definitely saw some isolated showers out of these clouds across sections of Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne as well. Then by afternoon, the prediction verified with some amount of clouds bringing overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, inland areas of especially central Jamaica. So inland areas of St. Elizabeth, inland areas of Manchester, inland areas of Trelawney, inland areas of Clarendon, as well as sections of St. Catherine, even sections of Kingston and St. Andrew got some of that overcast skies and that isolated shower. And we can see that even eastern Jamaica, Portland side specifically, got some amount of isolated clouds and showers as well. And we do indeed have confirmation from some of our followers. We have Fireman stating, it's been very dark up in the Blue Mountains for most of the day. Looks like it's raining up there. Looking from the city. Shani stating, had an unexpected but welcome downpour in Twickenham Park. Grateful. Then even on our Instagram page, we had confirmation of this rainfall. Kimberly Ash 94 stating raining in Sainty. And the only Captain stating raining in Clarendon. Not to mention Akeem Reed 44 confirming the rainfall in his area, stating it's raining. So that indeed confirms the rainfall that was predicted. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see where we had those clouds building across sections of western Jamaica, inland areas of some central parishes as well, just like what we just saw on the Twitter page. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, we can see those grays that represent some low-level clouds. But look at what we see right here off the coast of St. Elizabeth. This is right now. As we're recording, this is about 6:35 p.m. That's the latest imagery, and we can see some high cold cloud tops that represent some thunderstorm activity, some cumulonimbus clouds, and we can also see those sparkling white dots. And we know that's indicative of some amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes. So they're definitely getting in on some amount of bad weather right there across western St. Elizabeth to the south of Westmoreland. And if we take a look at the Cuban Doppler radar images, it indeed confirms what we're seeing right now to the south of Westmoreland, to the west of St. Elizabeth, with some greens and yellows that represent moderate to heavy rainfall, even some gold in there. So we can see the confirmation, the clouds on the satellite images, and the greens and the yellows on the Doppler radar images from Cuba, showing the actual rainfall that we're speaking of. And there's still some amount of lingering clouds and showers right now as we speak, maybe across sections of St. Andrew, Clarendon, Manchester, and we can see it being verified on the Cuban Doppler radar images as well, with those greens and some slight yellows in there. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we do indeed see where we had that rainfall, the northeast in the morning, and then across central and especially western Jamaica during the afternoon. So this does indeed paint a picture of where we had that rainfall throughout the day on Saturday. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by 3 a.m. on Sunday later on tonight, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Sunday. When we calculate that, that's about 1 p.m. on Sunday. And what do we see around Jamaica? We see some oranges, some gold colors. And when we take a look at the key on the right, that's representative of some amount of 2 to 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica are about the same as 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And 88 degrees Fahrenheit in degrees Celsius is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 33 degrees Celsius for Jamaica's temperatures on Sunday. As it relates to the dry air map, we can see by the key on the bottom that the dry air is represented by the yellows, oranges, and reds. And we do see that there's a lot of dry air across the entire Atlantic. The area around Jamaica, however, is receiving the low end of that dry air as indicated by the yellows. And this does indeed explain why we had more in the way of some isolated showers across the island today. If we had more of that oranges and reds, the moisture would have been very much limited. As relates to the Saharan dust forecast, this map is showing 2 p.m. on Sunday, November 26th, and we do see that Jamaica should be in the clear for that time, with all of the dust represented by those browns across the main development region and Africa. As relates to the wave forecast, we can see by the key on the bottom right that the waves and their heights are represented by the blues, the lighter shades of blues, the darker shades of blues, purples, even some burgundy shades. And we see that what's surrounding the island on both the U and the GFS are some lighter shades of blues on the north coast, some darker shades of blues on the east and the south. So definitely anywhere from zero point 0.5 for meter to at least 1.5 meter wave heights is what is being forecasted for tomorrow. As relates to the winds are the reason why we're going to be having those wave heights. We can see the winds represented by the blues, the greens, the yellows on the key on the bottom right. And we can see that both the Euro and the JFS malls are in consensus that we should be receiving the winds coming in from the east across Jamaica for tomorrow, averaging anywhere from 10 to 20 knots at most, as we can see by those blues and the greens. Not to mention, maybe if we're going to be getting in on some isolated afternoon showers, we know where it usually is expected. Wherever we have those lighter shades of blues inland, that's where we're going to be having that air piling up, those cumulus clouds developing and getting heavy, and then bring about some amount of rainfall across the island, especially to sections of western Jamaica and inland areas of some central parishes in Jamaica. So western Jamaica, especially Hanover, Westmoreland, inland areas of some central parishes, so northern Manchester, northern Clarendon, northern St. Anne, southern St. Mary, southern St. Anne, southern Trelawney as well, northern St. Elizabeth, and southern St. James as usual. And we can see that on the accumulated precipitation map from both the Euro and the GFS models, we have some contrast, we have some differences taking shape. Only up to 0.22 of an inch across the northwest is expected within the next 24 hours by the GFS. Euro showing up to 0.21, and that is more focused towards the southeast. So the location where the rainfall is expected is a bit different. Either way, there's rainfall in the forecast, and we're indeed grateful. We're in the month of November. We're in the final month of our rainy season. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we wrap up the rainy season and head into our dry period from December through to April. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that we have a lot of activity taking place across the northern section of South America. So definitely a lot of showers and thunderstorm activity taking place across French Guyana, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia as usual, especially southern Colombia, section of Panama and Costa Rica as usual, southern Nicaragua, section of Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize getting in on some amount of bad weather. Not to mention sections of St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, the US and British Virgin Islands, as well as sections of Puerto Rico getting in on that bad weather as well. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean to confirm the rainfall that we're seeing, we can see that even right now we have some amount of rainfall taking place across sections of southwestern Puerto Rico, the waters to the south and east of Puerto Rico, the British and US Virgin Islands. Not much taking place across St. Martin or St. Kitts right now, or Antigua and Barbuda. But we can see that we have something taking shape right there across southern Guadeloupe, maybe getting in on some amount of rainfall if that is not ground clutter, basically a glitch. As relates to the Barbados radar, we don't see much happening across Barbados right now. Where we see the rainfall is to the south and the east of Barbados. Some rainfall coming in from the east, but some of that looks like some hit or miss rainfall, and it looks like it's dissipating as we speak. More of that rainfall is to the south of Barbados, heading into sections of Grenada, coming in from the east northeast, maybe spilling into sections of Tobago and Trinidad later on tonight. As relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall associated with that cold front still coming in from the west to affect sections of the west coast of Florida. Some isolated showers still affecting sections of Belize, the southern Yucatan Peninsula, sections of northern Guatemala as well. And if we take a look at the temperature forecast, this map from the GFS is showing 18th on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday. And we do see that from anywhere from the central Caribbean to the western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, we should be receiving those orange colors. And we know these orange colors represent up to 3 to 4 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures on the key on the right. But look at the Eastern Caribbean. We should be receiving the clear colors. We see it right there as represented by the zero. Not to mention some blues that represent some below average temperatures, maybe getting down to even 3 degrees Celsius below normal temperatures. So that's gonna be the forecast for the East for Sunday. As relates to the dry air map, we can see that majority, not dry air, the Saharan dust forecast, sorry, for 2 p.m. on Sunday, majority of the Caribbean should be in the clear, with all of the dust represented by those slight brown colors across the main development region and Africa. It's not that robust. If you want to see hazy skies and, asthma or sinusitis or allergies being triggered in persons, you have to have those darker shades of browns. And right now, it's not the season for that. Only some very light shades of brown. So even if this makes it to the Eastern Caribbean, it's not going to be that robust at all. If we take a look at the wave forecast, we can see by the key on the bottom right that the waves are represented by those lighter shades of blues, darker shades of blues, purples, and reds. And we do see that we should be receiving some lighter shades of blues and some darker shades of blues, not to mention some purples, especially to the south of Jamaica, to the north of Colombia. And that is easily explained because the winds are going to be strongest right there, where we have those yellows coming in from the east, averaging 25 knots, while anywhere in the greens, we should be having anywhere from, let's say, 15 to 20 knots. As far as the rainfall forecast now, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are in consensus with where the rain is expected for tomorrow. So sections of the waters to the west of Florida associated with that cold front, sections of the Bahamas, especially the eastern Bahamas, going to be getting in some rainfall. The northern portions of Hispaniola, so northern Haiti, northern Dominican Republic, eastern sections or northeastern sections of Cuba, not to mention sections of Puerto Rico, St. Kitts and Nevis, maybe sections of the US and British Virgin Islands. We don't see much happening anywhere from Antigua and Barbuda southward all the way down to St. Lucia, but we start to see some greens that represent rainfall right there across sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of eastern and southern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, especially eastern Nicaragua. We see those rainfall totals. Not to mention some rainfall across sections of Honduras, maybe some isolated showers across sections of Belize and Guatemala, not to mention the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. And we see the consensus, and we know that when we see consensus like this, when we see both the maps showing the same thing like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.